All right, live on YouTube as well. Let's see if I make any money today. What do you guys think? Options has been pretty dang good to me lately, I'm not gonna lie. Pretty dang good to me. Really got much to do. Market opens in 8 minutes. But like I said in my channel, leaning mildly bearish today to 69.31 on ES. Of some decent pivots right here. And then potentially 25.219 on NQ. I am hoping we go up in the morning though, or at open form. We already have half of a head and shoulders formed here, but if we can bounce and invalidate that bounce, that's going to be a trade that I'm looking to take down to here. It is going to be fairly risky though, because we are going to have to go through a lot of demand for that to happen. Otherwise, not really seeing great call opportunities. If ES or NQ are way stronger than the other one, and ES invalidates a majority of the move, that may be a call opportunity there. We will find out. Oh, you're back. I'm gonna grab water and then market will open up. All right, I'm back. All right, so we have 5 minutes till market open. Now, yesterday and the day before, I've been locked in on the website and journaling platform we have. That's pretty much done. There is a bug with it that I'm working out today. But our completely free journaling platform now allows you to directly connect your Trade to the platform. And it works with solid 98% accuracy. One person reported one of their trades. It just showed unknown, but other than that, it works pretty flawlessly for me. The only thing is, do not click when you connect your Trade and then you fetch your trades. Choose what trades you want to import. Don't click create new strategy. Do it to an existing strategy. So create a new strategy beforehand, because there's a bug that's not allowing it to work when creating a new strategy for some reason, which will be fixed today. But I also have software built in to where you can automatically combine trades that are like partial fills. So say you trade with 5 micros or something when futures, and it fills you 3 1-and-1 all at the same second, but they're separate trades on Trade. Those will be automatically combined if you select the combine button into one trade. But the software is freaking fantastic, and I completely renamed our journaling platform something completely different. Uh, that way it's more proper and set apart from other things. Um, Let me see. Hang on, I'll be right back. I'm back. Also, we are bouncing before market open, which is nice. So if we invalidate this bounce, I can do it. Refresh and try logging in again. There might be a chance that it only works when my laptop is on. And if that's the case, I need to put it off of the local host. Yeah, that might be a thing. But today should be the last day of bug fixes, and it's freaking beautiful. Oh, are you guys not saying my... Okay, I thought you guys were saying my website's broken. My Tradeavid's logged in. Wait, maybe it's not. It's showing 0 equity and 0 P&L in my Tradeavid. I'm like, dude, is my freaking... How the hell is my website not working? I was logged in. Yeah, I'm not logged in either at the moment. Huh. Well, good thing I have an hour for them to fix it, because I trade options. Let's see if any money can be made this morning. All right, I'll close my laptop because it's not a me issue. All right, that's market open. NQ is a lot weaker than yes. Does not look bad. Jeez, puts are expensive though. I'm pretty much triggered into Nasdaq puts. I'll let this candle close in case it gets a huge buying wick, but I'm pretty much triggered in half size at least. again, pretty much triggered in. Filled at half size, 88 cents, and looks like I'm not going to get a second half. That is very bearish. My PT was below 219. Looks like we're going to get it. I did average up on this. Looks pretty good for my PT. ES is trying to bounce beforehand. I'm actually bearish for 69.31. So this NQPT is not the final say. NQ is getting the first pivot now. This is a potential trim area. I am mostly holding out for my big price target though. That is a reversal candle though off that pivot. That's pretty bullish candle. It is not so bullish anymore. ES starting to look a little better than NQ. ES wants one of my pivots. Let's see if we can get there. It's starting to be a lot of buyer support here in this demand. I'm not liking these buying wicks on NQ. I did add a little bit on this bounce, but I'm pretty much full size now. I can't add anymore. That's a really bullish candle. We may have a very bright green to red trade on our hands. Tried filling some mild SPX as well, but it missed my fill, unfortunately. Pretty dang bearish, though. NQ is way stronger than ES now. It looks like I'm gonna stop out of the Nasdaq. It looks like it's done going down for now. It is indeed. That is indeed bullish. I did stop out. Small loss. That is a massive green to red trade. I was nearly up 100%. Barely missed my final PT. That's really annoying. Was up like 70 or 80% on that trade. Oh, I'll be back in if we come back down. Looks like it may happen though. That big green candle invalidates. I'm going to be fairly heavy in puts. SPX is starting to look better for calls though. It actually looks really good for calls here. Just to that near high, but I need NQ to not invalidate its big candle or I'll be back in puts. ES flipped weak. So I'm watching SPX puts, but NQ looks good for this little pre-market high. That looks pretty bullish. I'm not really feeling the calls anymore, though. I don't know what the market wants to do this morning. We have PMI in 5 minutes, but the way it's just kind of going sideways here, I don't know what it wants to do. It's hard for me not to be bearish, though. These pivots are really nice on ES, but we're also chopping down and invalidating a majority of the move. So currently, the market's bullish, at least for this pre-market high on NQ. Looks like ES is strong now. The strengths keep flipping. NQ's weak. See, I really do want to re-enter my puts. Just need most of this bounce to invalidate. Doesn't look like it wants to do that. NQ might. See, it keeps like faking out. That looks good for a short squeeze to this high on the Nasdaq. That's a really bullish candle there. Or not anymore. If this green body invalidates on ES, I do kind of have to enter. But I don't like the way it's chopping down right now. Looks like it's gearing for a short squeeze, possibly. The selling wick invalidation is pretty bullish on ES. I am leaning bullish for NQ25 388, but I was kind of shaken out of calls. Not that I was in, but sentiment-wise shaken out of calls by this huge red candle. Looks like it'll get it though. And then my ESPT was here. And it just about got that. See if ES gets a bearish liquidity sweep or continues bullish. I don't really have the confidence for calls. Yeah, I don't know. This is a missed pivot now on ES, so this is a really nice level here. And now it's trying to invalidate majority of the bounce again. I don't think it should be able to. That barely missed this pivot here on ES. NQ did get a nice liquidity sweep, but ES missed it. If they both swept it, I'd be looking at puts very closely right now. But now I'm not really going to be able to get in unless we get all the way down here. Like NQ is definitely weaker than ES. It is definitely weaker than ES right now. And I have to get in. I'll wait let this buying wick. I'll let this buying wick close. Is it faking me out again? Because that mispivot on ES really bothers me. But I'm pretty triggered into Q puts here. Yeah, I filled them. able to add, saving buying power to add, but that's kind of my plan. If ES can break to the downside and get somewhere around 69.42, I'll add puts for an average up. But until then, I'm fairly light size, saving buying power to add because I do not trust that this is not a bear trap. Do not trust it. And looks like ES is trying to get to that pivot that I want it to get. See, but you keep having these huge candles just invalidate. So it's a very confusing morning. Not very good price action at all. And then you have that massive selling wick invalidate. That is very bullish to the high. So it looks like my ad will actually be an average down. Can't do it until he gets that pivot. Scaling into the rest of my puts on this candle. I'm kind of thinking it's going to stop out, but I'm giving ES a potential chance to sweep. It looks like NQ could go towards that high, but I'm kind of thinking the market's more likely to compress. So that's kind of the gamble. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to make any money this morning on options. The market is just far too indecisive. Like, really indecisive today. Too many big candles that aren't actually causing any direction. You can scale out. Yeah, I mean, these puts pretty much hit back to green. Not with the buying wick, but they did previously. If you want to size down to reduce risk, that's fine. I have no idea where this market wants to go today. It looks like NQ wants new high of day. But then right as I say it, it does that. So, oh no, not bad to scale out though. I scaled out a bit just in case we keep chopping. This is pretty much the level on NQ that we keep bouncing from. But I'm hoping for something great. I don't want to be too hopeful though. It's not, it's not what I want to do. Kind of a crazy risk reward on this trade, but that's my stop loss. Why do I feel like NQ is going to bounce and invalidate all this great progress towards the downside? Knock on wood. This is the fourth lower low we've made. And if it bounces here, it should be able to squeeze back to the upside. In fact, I'm moving my stop loss up a bunch. Not a bad place to scale. I personally just decreased my risk a bit. Got 90 cents. That first trade still bugs me. I mean, I filled it 88 cents at the beginning and dropped all the way to freaking 1.4 something nuts before turning around and reversing. But it's like, what am I going to do? Am I going to sell when I've only been in the trade for a minute and a half and it's been straight down towards my PT? Obviously not. So there's not really anything I can do about that. But QQ puts are doing good. I don't even know what my average is, but my initial entry is at 78 cents and my ad was 58 cents. So math would be 68 cents. And then puts are at 93 cents now. Oh, yeah. Feel free to trim on the way down. Back in that really heavy demand on NQ. If it does bounce, yeah, that'd be a pretty decent place to re-add, especially with ES missing low of day. That was a pretty dang good trim. ES did sweep low day though, which is a pretty bullish sweep. Looks like NQ is flipping weaker than ES. Very nice trim. Very nice trim. It's a very bullish sweep by ES. Well, it was beautiful, but this is way too hard of a bounce on ES. This, it looks like I'm getting hornswoggled again. Looks like we're just going to miss my PT. Like, everyone and their mother knew that was a fantastic place to trim, but uh, that is not what I wanted. That is way too hard of a bounce. What are we doing? Actually, this candle looks okay. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. And these puts are shooting back up. I did re-add a little bit as we dropped and started invalidating this bounce personally. I didn't do it on the bounce though. I wanted to, but that bounce was way too hard on ES. That was scary. Let's see if NQ actually goes for my PT. Apparently, it's super scared of it because there is a. I mean, how many demands is this? It's at least 4 demands, 5 demands, something like that. Okay, that's what I'm liking. It's pretty nice. There's NQ new low of day. Here comes ES final PT. Actually, no, the final PT is 31. I forgot. Yeah, that is perfect double bottom though on ES, and NQ did get new low of day. So if we bounce, it's not even a bad ad, even though NQ's sweeping low day. That is what I'm talking about, folks. Didn't get a very good fill though, but that's okay. Beautiful. It's a pretty big green day now. Yep. Also did have a single SPX contract, but it was mostly Nasdaq. That is a nice green day. That is exactly what I wanted to happen in my pre-market analysis. It really sucks that my first trade was that bright green to red trade, but I mean, it was a pretty light red trade. I mean, my average was so good, and I stopped out on this candle, so I only lost like 15 cents a contract or something like that. Very nice. Very nice. I didn't get baited on the calls. I wanted to. Did not, though. Our analysis was fantastic. Lately, just though every single day this week, even on futures, and futures has not been complying as far as my strategy goes, but futures analysis, I mean, the analysis has been damn good. Everything that I wanted to happen this week and forecasted happening actually did happen. So it's been very nice. Am I looking at like, oh yeah, we have two indicators. Why do we have that? Let's get the same thing here. Do I? Oh, that is very nice. Oops. How did that just happen? What do I have next for pivots? I didn't mark them out this low. We have these pivots down here. I'm pretty bearish for them. It's like another day of dropping. It's a bullish buying wick, but I am bearish still. Still pretty bearish. Yeah, I think you got the first one. Runners are at 1.6 now. Good grief. What an average down on that put trade as well. 142 is my PT, or should break 142 on NQ. Should be able to get it. Yep, there it is. Too bad I don't just like blindly hold my entire position until the point where I'd sell my last runner. So these puts are at 1.7 now for almost a 3x. And it's getting fairly close to a 3x. I knew it. I freaking didn't know it was going to drop this hard, but I knew something was up with these green candles. This bounce in the beginning of the morning really did surprise me. Hopefully everyone in the YouTube's doing good as well. I know you guys aren't very chatty and don't watch YouTube as much, but and that was news actually. The ISM came out. Let's see. What do we have? ISM services don't really tell me anything except employment. That's pretty bearish. Not even. Yeah, I don't know. Let's hit 179% gains. And then if you took SPX, those hit around the same. So 200%. That's pretty bullish bounce. After sweeping this pivot on NQ, I'm out my runners. Still leaning fairly bearish on ES to the next pivot, though. Like, there's nothing really about this chart that's bullish. Do you post the trades anywhere or just call them out? Yeah, I post them. I post them in my alert channel on Discord. Type in Discord chat. How many of you guys were able to do that? And yes, it is Blackhawk. I mean, not me personally, but it is this community, yes. The email stuff we're still working on. Newsletter though starting back up again today. The DM newsletter. Anyways, type in chat. How many of you futures people actually were able to catch this downside, or at least some of it? Or did you guys miss it because Trade of 8 came back too late? What happened? Missed. Oh, man. That freaking sucks. Well, you guys also missed that first loss, too, so there's that. It's not all bad. It's not all bad. Then, nice. Yeah, so next with the... okay, can you guys try with the website now, linking your Trade of 8 and importing your trades? You guys want to do that while I'm here? Do not click create new strategy though. If you want to create new strategy, create it beforehand. I haven't fixed that bug yet. That is a pretty bullish liquidity sweep on NQ of a double pivot in demand. I don't really have any more trades. I think that's it for me. But let me know if your guys' Trade of 8 connections work. Also, I will be pursuing a Top Step API key as well. If I can get a Top Step API key where you guys can connect your Top Step X platforms to North Star, and that's what the journaling platform is called now, North Star. That'll be the final Infinity Stone, I feel like. Blackhawk, why do you keep pinging me that? I already answered your last question. Yeah, Tommy wouldn't have made money anyways. I was nothing but bearish this morning, had one stop loss, and then everything played out perfectly. Like, I was nothing but bearish this morning. The only thing I called bullish for, genuinely, I was bullish for this pivot, and I was bullish for this pre-market high, both of which perfectly swept before dropping. The only thing was I wasn't in calls to that point because I didn't trust the market at all. Rightfully so, right? Look what ended up happening. But every single sentiment that I had this morning, as far as PT went, PT goes hit. So it is a very good morning, TA wise. Tommy's still around. Of course, he's still around. Blackhawk. Every single day, he's still around. No one beats his dedication to no one beats his dedication to trading. Any advice to pass my eval? I need 1500. Study Mark Douglas, Saftheg, because you're probably not trading properly right now. All right, you guys can hear me though, right? It's only Blackhawk that's got the issues. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. This looks good for a short squeeze. Look at that. And look how much stronger ES is than NQ. Wouldn't be a terrible long if, you invalidate majority of this move, because this barely swept on NQ. But ES is a lot stronger. Yeah, it's not bad at all. That is not bad at all. Yeah, Blackhawk, it's our email team there. We're still optimizing it and whatnot. But yeah, the we're gonna do another free newsletter after market open. It'll take 9 hours to send out. Most people got the previous one. For the free people, the newsletter should take 6 to 9 hours for everyone to receive it. It'll be a midweek update, and if that works, we are good. Now we can start getting. Now we can start up getting down to business with the newsletter. So premiums will get their newsletters once or twice a day, and then everyone will get a newsletter like once or twice a week. That'd be pretty good. Yeah, Blackhawk. So it was a deleted user because Discord banned it. We're still tuning our bots and stuff, so disregard it for now. It's a good day. Options have been printing this week. This week could be a good week for a masterclass. Too bad I'm too focused on other things. That's pretty bullish right there. Not gonna lie. That's a really nice exit. I'm actually leaning bullish for new high of day on ES. I'm not even joking. Actually leaning fairly bullish. Really does not look bad. I mean, it wouldn't even be a bad trade to supply. Would not be a bad trade if you want to take it. I wonder what let me see what the news is. U.S. service sector signals solid growth in January. Following a dramatic rebound, U.S. manufacturing survey data, driven by a surge in new orders, soft data has bounced back dramatically from its post-government shutdown, which is ironically occurring as the hard data, which was so resilient through the shutdown, started to roll over. S&P's global U.S. services PMI signaled a better than expected outcome of 52.7 in January, rebounding from April 2025's lows. An ISM U.S. Services PMI survey also beat expectations, but both still solidly with expansion. S&P 500 PMI recorded 53.0 in January. That was up from 52.7 in December. Represented a solid growth rate, private sector. But it says, despite the rebound, U.S. has been overtaken by UK and Japan in terms of global PMIs. It says sustained service sector growth supported by robust rise in manufacturing output in January indicates the economy is growing at an annualized rate of 1.7. However, that is a lower gear compared to the pace of expansion seen prior to December's slowdown. It doesn't seem that bearish to me. I don't know about you guys. Finally get some kind of wick here on ES. Let's see if it validates that wick. It's gonna be pretty bullish. If not, we might go sideways for a bit. Looks like it's trying to invalidate it. Well, the wick lives. Well, pivot got swept. Look on my screen, Riker. Get yellow lines. We had pivot sweeps on both sides. ES is the only one that didn't sweep at low day, but NQ did. Yeah, that is a 61A rejection, huh? I don't think it'll last. I think there's a pretty damn good chance ES gets the supply. Zach battery is low. Yep, call it a day then. It's good awareness though. Congrats on the gains, Jimkin. I can't trade futures in for another 17 minutes, but because we do not count as a liquidity sweep, gosh dang it, because this candle's not touching the pivot, so that is unfortunate. Okay. Just gonna keep deleting my indicators, I guess. A lot of nice pivots down here, though. If we dump again, that'd be really nice. This is a bullish consolidation on ES. Let's see if it actually breaks to the upside or breaks to the downside. I'm gonna hang out on my phone for a bit. I don't have anything that I can do, but I'm curious to see if my bullish sentiment will play out and ES gets the supply. This is a lot stronger than NQ. Let's see if NQ even wants to. If NQ makes a higher high, that's probably going to be enough for ES to get to supply. Be right back, guys. All right, I'm back. Still have 12 minutes till I could trade futures. Going to be a bit, so probably just going to hang out on my phone. Don't really have much to do. Still have 9 minutes so I can trade futures. And if I were able to trade now, I think I'd be able to enter really. Because this is bullish consolidation, strong, and liquidity momentum. Going against potential supply, I would be able to go long here on futures, but unfortunately I cannot because the time hasn't came yet, which is pretty unfortunate. NQ doesn't look like it wants to go up at all. NQ looks like it wants to bearishly consolidate and fall all the way back down. Yes, trying to get to supply, but it is not working out. Well, I'm gonna keep hanging out on my phone. I still have 8 more minutes. Oh, my supply idea seems to have played out. That's pretty cool. So if you did take that, congrats, you got one more green trade. And I really wish this, yeah, it's pretty close to a sweep, but it's a debate. There's one trade where I kind of counted it on my back testing when it was so close. Oh wait, never mind. This is definitely a sweep here. Okay, never mind. I don't know why I didn't have that pivot drawn. That definitely swept. Okay. So we do have that. And there's supply on ES. Do anyone take longs or calls for that? Yeah, beautiful. Oh, now I'm actually bearish drive, bullish drive day, but very nice TA. Glad I sent that out. People were able to make some money off that. Not bad. Not bad at all. All right, cool. I do have the liquidity sweep on NQ, so what am I going against? Well, the problem is I do kind of need bullish consolidation because right now I have liquidity sweep on NQ. I have not really including the demand on ES because my entire screen's demand. So liquidity momentum 1, liquidity sweep 2, assuming that ES stays strong, that's 3, going against supply and the liquidity sweep. So I do need some kind of bullish consolidation or something in order to enter. Because my trade would have had to just been to supply to avoid the sweep. That's a big trade right there. Geez, 56 ticks. Yeah, 50 ticks on ES. Big trades today. But most of you guys are probably done trading now anyways. One minute till I can trade futures, I cannot get into anything right now. I will say that. There is nothing that I can get into anytime soon. Yeah, man, I wish I could get into something. These two bad keywords keep me out of it. All right, I'll be right back. That's a nice supply rejection on ES. Not really seeing anything I can enter. If this was a little bit more up right here, it'd be an inverse head and shoulders. And then I'd actually be able to take a long trade to ES high of day. Doesn't look like I'm going to be able to do that right now, though. If we were to bounce on NQ, no, never mind. There's no way it does that in shoulders now. Dang, that supply was a really good PT. Look at that. That is beautiful. Oh, what do I have? I have liquidity sweep and demand going against shorts. For shorts, I have liquidity sweep and liquidity momentum. NQ's a little weaker. The best I have is 3 to 2. Really, what needs to happen is I need bearish consolidation to happen. Roughly down here. If we can bearish consolidate just above this low or just above this pivot, I can take it. Otherwise, it'll be a continuation on a pivot. So. But we have a lot of pivots down here at the bottom of this demand, so I'm actually starting to think it's a possibility that we break all this demand, but that's a long way down. And are we really going to drop that far 2 days in a row? It's hard to foresee, but if we get in this area, I'm pretty bearish for 25 to break. Bruce, do I still get trade of the week if I can? No, Tommy, you know, no. You've had terrible psychology, buddy. Also, John, did you get my message? That's pretty bearish, man. That's a nice supply rejection. Did NQ reject the 61.8? That looks like it would be. Let me see. It did. That's beautiful 61.8 play. Yeah, I did gonna post later. Got drunk last night. All right, sweet, dude. But we're starting to lock in with the trader of the week stuff again. We have too many people experiencing success and not enough people learning from it. What's up, guy? Hey, has anyone tried linking their Trade of 8 to the journaling platform now, North Star? Who yours tried that? Do not click create new strategy. Do an existing one. If you need to create a new one, create it beforehand and then link it. That's a bug that I'll work out here within the next after my futures trading. No, you can't, Tommy, because you got to pay out by gambling, not with good discipline, and there's a reason why you lost all of the money that you've been paid out within 2 weeks. So, Yeshwanth, you did last night. Okay. Psych test incoming for me. Don't you freaking fail it, Dev. Don't even think about it. Not worth it. It's only going to stunt your trajectory. The few $100s or even $1,000 you can make by breaking your rules is not worth the $100,000 you're going to miss out on by derailing your trajectory. Tommy says I'm literally a full-time professional trader. I know you are, dude. I know. Tommy, you can't get those roles unless you're a premium member. And if you're a full-time professional trader and you're making money, you should be able to afford premium. Anyways, Yeshwant, how did you like the Trade connection to the North Star Edge software? Great. I'm glad. That's a bullish bounce. Something's going on there. Something's going on there. That's bullish. Could technically be a long trade for supply here. No, but that's too unnatural. That's cheating. But technically, we have no. Never mind. They're even in strength. NQ might be a little bit stronger. Look at that. That is something. If NQ made a lower low, I'd have falling wedge. I would love to enter long on that candle, but I can't. I have going against liquidity sweep and supply. EZG, have you tested the trade debate connection yet? If not, do it real quick. You got that massive screen now. You can make a little corner of it dedicated to that. Folks, today's back to normal schedule. So I will be doing the trade review. That'll be coming back, the study session, that kind of stuff. And then I was going to do it yesterday, but then I got hit with the API key, so we're not going to do it. Tomorrow we'll start doing those strategy reviews again, only for the elite traders. So that'll happen. And TCG, let me know how it goes. Just don't click create new strategy. Do an existing one. So you can create a new one, then import the trades to that new strategy, but don't click create because it's still bugged right now. I'll fix that later today. That's bullish, folks. That is a really bullish red candle invalidation. That looks good for ES new high of day. I cannot get in. We have, yeah, the strengths are even too. I mean, maybe with this candle, I could have volume. It's just a stretch. It's gray area. This isn't something that I'd enter backtesting. But technically, we invalidate a majority of the drop, which is true, right? We have liquidity momentum, NQ liquidity sweep, that's 2, volume, that's 3, and 1 is not strong, so never mind. It would still be 3 to 2. Cool. But supply and demand has been working very well lately. Just this year in general, supply and demand has been fantastic. Pivots haven't. No, they haven't. They've been okay. They've been okay the last few days. Since the second half of last week moving forward, pivots have been good. Today, especially, I mean, we had beautiful liquidity sweep here. They've been working really nice. Unfortunately, though, the last 2 days, it's very hard on my psychology. Like, my psychology was struggling yesterday because 2 days in a row where I predicted exactly what was going to happen. I was very bullish and very bearish for those things to happen, but I couldn't get in because my strategy didn't let me. And that was really hard to accept. So I just need to alter my strategy a bit, it looks like. But yeah, I know TCG. Relog in and then go to the, because it re-authenticates pretty much again to make sure that you're actually you. The only thing is I want to streamline that process just a little bit more. But like for example, after you relog into the website, I want to take you straight to the North Star dashboard, not just, to the regular dashboard. Also, the community rankings that's going to be built today. Pretty much, if you create one strategy, that's 20 points. If you create a trade, if you log a trade, that's 10 points. Every keyword is 5 points. Every image is 10 points. Every post exit analytic is another 5 points. Every PT type, stop loss type is another 5 points. And every month run is another 10. So, where you're going to use a point system to pretty much rank who uses the platform the most. And those rankings are going to be working today. Yeah, I feel that, Riker. My last due date should not have been read at all. Could be a free person curse, but supply and demand is the best thing you've ever created. Well, I thank you, Slicked. Yeah, no, this indicator is pretty freaking solid. Not looking like I can get any trades anytime soon, guys. I mean, if we do this, then I could take a trade to supply. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Otherwise, I can't really get into anything right now, and I am leaning bullish. So I know TCG refresh, or just go back to the strategy page and refresh. It's just a cash thing. Yeah. I need to put that instruction there. I don't think there's any possible way to make it just show up without refreshing. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. Obviously, there's cleaning up that I have to do. There's some mild bug fixes, but the core, it works. The core stuff works. Dev had one trade yesterday that said unknown for some weird reason, but other than that, the thing works. And that was a very, very, very difficult thing to get working. There is very limited documentation on. We tried forever with the regular API key. That didn't work. I created an OAuth, so an authentication API key, which is what you log in to Tradevate with. That worked to log in and connect the account, but couldn't fetch the trades. It could not pull historical trades. And then it was stuck only, for a long time, it was only stuck showing today's trades and not historical trades. And so that was a big issue as well. So we actually had to use a WebSocket in combination with OAuth to make it work. But also, the time frame selector, past 7 days, past 14 days, that's going to be completely overhauled. So if you do past 90 days or more, it'll break. So that'll be fixed. There'll be a custom range selector. And then TCG, I don't know if you did it, but before you import the trades, if you click combine partial fills, all those trades that are just like tiny partial fills, like if you trade multiple contracts with a limit order, instead of filling all in one order, it splits it up into like two different orders. It'll automatically combine that if that's toggled on, and it'll show you which trades to combine. So it's pretty neat in my opinion. Average trade duration? No, that's definitely not correct. I don't think I had that issue though. I think one of your trades, check your times. One of your trades may be backwards. Like your exit is before your entry by a lot. And that could try to figure out what's disrupting that. But yeah, the combined trades thing, that's really useful because even in the CSV, it's still split apart all weird. Like most of the time when I fill 5 MNQ on a trade, it'll split it like 2, 1, 1, 1 or something, or 3 and 2 or something. But check the times and let me know if there's any bugs there, because I'll spend most of the day fixing bugs and whatnot. Dang, are your trades really that long, Riker? Or do you have a couple of trades that you didn't? Did you not put the exit time for them? You didn't put the exit time, so it just defaulted till 4 p.m. Eastern. Oh yeah, yeah, that's the issue. ES is a lot stronger than NQ right now. NQ may want new low of day. I'm hoping that we can get some kind of liquidity sweep. If NQ can come down and sweep something and put in a nice reversal setup, I can enter. And then I would just go to ES supply to avoid that. I'd actually be avoiding both keywords. I'd be avoiding liquidity sweep and supply if I only went to supply. Well, we are back. I'm going to use the restroom. And hopefully NQ can sweep, because then I'll have a pretty decent trade. Okay. NQ may be going for the sweep here. If we can get it, if I can get a liquidity sweep on NQ, we'll be in business for that specific reversal. Because with that liquidity sweep, if I'm just going to supply on ES, I don't even have a bad keyword. And if I can get volume, well, let's say NQ. The question is, I want it to get low of day, but if it does perfectly sweep this level, that's gonna suck. But I mean, it would be ES is stronger. So on ES, we'd have strong, we'd have demand on NQ, we'd have liquidity sweep on NQ. And then maybe volume, but I wouldn't be going against any bad keywords because I don't have other trend. And ES's trend is certainly not down right now. So it would pretty much be a 3-0 trade if I were to just take it to supply. So that's what I'm hoping for. Aside from that, I can't really do anything. Riger says, beginning 2026 cooked me. I haven't collected much more data on other months, but we'll be doing that today. Yeah, the first December wasn't very good either, but first 2 weeks of January were trash. Thank you to not sweep before mounting. I guess I will keep hanging out on my phone. It's probably going to be a bit before I can get into a futures trade. Now that I think of it, um, if we do come down one more time, is this bearish consolidation on NQ? Let me see. We have bearish consolidation, weak liquidity momentum, going against liquidity sweep, demand. But I count this liquidity sweep to support this bearish consolidation, though. That's the thing. Going against sweep and demand. Uh, yeah, I mean, technically, this is a liquidity sweep. Supporting it. I mean, even then, I have a bearish liquidity sweep. So yeah, technically, I do have to enter this short. It'd be a really small trade though, as far as just distance to PT and stop loss. Cooked twice, going for low day. Yeah, I didn't have really any keywords to support that, but I may have to go in now. Technically, hoping that I don't though. You could go for the big one if you want all the way down here, but I do not have the nuts for that. I don't really want to get into this trade, but I want to get into most of the trades I'll get into. The ones I do want to get into, I can't get into. But technically, if I count this liquidity sweep either on either side, I would have to get in. Now, it's debatable, but I've been really lenient with including liquidity sweeps to support general direction trades. So, looks like I'll have to enter on this candle. I did fill it. Did not get a very good fill though. 54.75. Oof. Where is my 1-to-1? Look how small this trade is. This is not what I want to. That's not what I want to see here. Yeah, this is freaking trash. I hate this tiny risk to reward trades. This is not ideal at all. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna stop it. I did not like this trade at all. Stop loss is just way too close. Way too close. Not an optimal trade. But I am bearish for the low of data break now. I just don't think I'm going to be in for it. I think it's going to squeeze to the upside and then come back down later. TCG, just wait till you have two of them, dude. It's an oven. It's nice. But I also have the brightness down, so it's not that much heat. But in the summer mornings when I, you know, keep my place at 78 degrees or so, I only need it when I keep my place at 78 degrees, which is usually what it's at. Um, and obviously my entire wall is a window because I'm in an apartment. Uh, 78 degrees and the monitors radiating all of their heat on me. I only need to wear my blanket for maybe the first 15 minutes of market open instead of the first hour. So I will say that. Well, right, the brightness is at 50, but on your keyboard, do you have the brightness button to where you can just change it? Because yeah, your brightness in your settings needs to be 50, but your actual screen brightness, like the one you can control on your keyboard, that's what changes. Oh, my brightness is at 25. Yeah, my brightness is at 25. Wait, did that, hang on, does that change when I turn this up? Let me see. Oh yeah, no, never mind. Yeah, never mind. The keyboard actually controls that brightness and it goes down when you press your keys. So yeah, I just use my keyboard to control it, which is pretty nifty if you ask me. Looks like NQ flipping strong, which is the opposite of what you'd want. It's very surprising that last candle invalidated. Um, I'm still not a man of confidence in this trade, but you know, it's more tempting now to go all the way for the demand break. Not really feeling that though, but there are a lot of nice pivots down here. Fingers crossed I can get some kind of bearish consolidation here underneath this pivot and I can re-enter if it does get down. Looks like it's trying to bounce. Oh, Rakai, that's unfortunate, dude. Your stop loss was a little too far away, though. If you're putting your stop loss, oh, there's PT. Okay, look at that. We actually won. I did not want to enter that. I did not want to enter that trade. I mean, you could go for this demand break, but it's like I do not have the confidence for and this liquidity sweep. It's barely relevant on both, like barely relevant. But it looks like it is going to go for the demand break. So maybe there's something to learn there. Maybe I could have made, 524 ticks on this trade. That would have been nuts. It's definitely not a sweep. That is a volume spike, though. So if ES reverses, that's technically a liquidity sweep. Not sure if it'll do that. But if ES reverses and invalidates a majority of this drop, I can enter longs for supply. It's looking like my exit was not very good, though. It's just with that much if I didn't have demand, then I'd probably go further. But man, I really like this demand to break today. For those of you guys that haven't seen it, here's the bottom. Here's what the pivots look like at the bottom. Look at these. It's not bad. Well, and don't forget a grown man in his underwear. You guys can't forget that I don't trade with clothes on. That's a key. That's a key. That's a key part to the visual. Stonky says, "No wonder you need a blanket." No, if I were in clothes, I wouldn't need a blanket. Are you kidding me? But the thing is, it's just inefficient, right? I try to be efficient, like lazy, but like efficient with my energy, right? Lazy and energy efficiency are synonymous. My thing is like, what's the point of putting on jammies for bed if I'm just gonna have to take them off to shower or get on clothes? Why wouldn't I just not wear clothes to bed? And then I just don't wear clothes until I'm about to leave the house or whatever, right? Doesn't make sense. I'll do all the changing that people do. Jammy? What they call? What do you guys call them? No, they're called jammies, dude. Don't be crazy. Everyone knows that. What do you use to? Sorry, Peter. I'm just now seeing your message. Pivots are just historical points of price action that have had a major reversal, right? So major reversal points. Those are my yellow lines. That's my primary price target location. It goes pivots, then supply and demand, then fib, then risk reward. Do you and Ash wear matching jam? Stonky, you misheard me. I don't. You didn't pick up what I was putting down. I do not do the whole jammy thing. It's a waste. I don't like getting dressed for bed and then having to undress in the mornings. No. Strip off all the clothes and jump into bed. No, I have my skivvies on, obviously. I'm not naked, but yeah, it's all about efficiency. Ashen does the whole jammy thing though. That's why you don't video live stream. That's a big reason, Reese. That's a big reason. Also, I'm not a very entertaining person to watch. Like the entire time I'm silent, I have my head down on my arm, doom scrolling on my phone, waiting for my trade to play out. And no trading is the best. Cool. I wouldn't say I'm ever commando. I wouldn't say that. Hello, and I assume you're trying to go for the demand break. Put in some bearish consolidation for me, and that would be awesome. I need it to bounce one more time right here. If it can bounce one more time without making a lower low and then come down, I can re-enter. I think it's probably just going to get there without me, to be honest. Yeah, loan, it's actually 25.25, not 25.06 or 26. 25.25. So adjust your PT. Precision. I'm not really going to count this as continuation on pivot on ES. NQ's a little weaker. It made the lower low, but ES is still potentially bearish consolidation, but it doesn't look like I'm going to get it. So, yeah, don't do TA on them in Q chart. Can't trust that. Can't trust that guy. It looks like it'll try to go for it now. It's a pretty bearish candle there on both ES and NQ. Yeah. Well, you actually need to be at 24.75 loan because you always got to go one tick past the pivot. You're not going to see a perfect double bottom on NQ. Hold. Usually, knock on wood, right? Well, ES is about to get to this liquidity sweep. And if we bullishly sweep, I may have to enter longs here, which I do not want to do. I also don't want to take the last trade either. Lone says I know ball price. Yes, you do. You do that. And that is a missed pivot on ES. Please bounce. If we can bounce, I can enter. Because that missed pivot holds. If that missed pivot holds, that'd be awesome. Let's see. We'd have missed pivot on ES. I don't know if one is weak anymore. Missed pivot, liquidity momentum, liquidity sweep going against demand. And maybe one is weaker. A bounce would be magical. I don't think it's going to happen, but a bounce would be magical. I would like to blindly enter the 38.2% up here. That's what I'd like to do. 1.5 restored. Looks like NQ slipping stronger. Wow. You're supplying. What do you mean it's not working, Stonky? First off, what subscription of TradingView do you have? And have you already tried re-adding it? Also, I found this issue, but enable zones price if it's not already enabled. Because if that's disabled, sometimes it'll be missing zones. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Okay, folks, we have bounced. We have indeed bounced. Please tell me this is not a perfect trend line. It is not. Okay, it'd be really cool if we break this trend line because that is a pretty bullish trend line there. Now, I could technically enter it. I don't really enter on bounces like this. No, I at least need a portion of the bounce to invalidate. If the portion of the bounce invalidates and I can enter roughly to here, my PT would actually be the demand break on NQ. But that bounce is a little scary, I'm not going to lie. That's a pretty bullish bounce. I don't like that. But right now we'd have liquidity momentum, missed pivot, and I'd still have to give it liquidity sweep for the 3, and maybe weak will be 4, and I'm only going against demand. Which one's weaker? Is NQ weaker now? Oh, that's close to a candle that could maybe trigger me in. I want to see like half of this candle validate. It's a really far price target. Let Stonky, like, how's it broken? Are some zones not appearing? Are you not have access to the indicator at all? What exactly isn't working properly? Guys, I can't tell which one's weaker. I think ES is a little weaker. I need another candle. I can't enter on this candle. In good faith, at least. But that trend line is damn near perfect. This wick got a little bit over, so it's technically not a perfect trend line, but this is a really bullish trend line right here that needs to at least wick to the upside. Okay, Stonky. Turn on show zones price if you haven't already. So show zones price. If that doesn't work, how long ago are the demand zones? If you downgraded your subscription, I'm at like the max. These demand zones, actually, you should see these January 21st. Unless your subscription is really downgraded. Okay, NQ is definitely weaker than ES again. We are in the last seconds of this candle. I might be able to enter. I did fill it. It's freaking sketchy. I will say that. But NQ is in fact weaker. Not like this green candle though. I would not enter until ES breaks that trend line and comes back down. Well, if I wasn't in now, I'd have to be in. If I wasn't in already, I'd have to get in on this candle. But gosh, that trend line freaking bugs me on ES. It does really bug me. Did not get a good. I actually got like the worst fill possible. Just have this at 1.5. Point 0.3, yeah, it's not terrible. I think this can come down a little bit though. I think that's good. See if NQ wants it. I need ES to not have that mispivot, but this trend line's a big deal, guys. I'm not even joking. This trend line's a big deal on ES. That's a gorgeous, the surgical, how surgical that was though, with predicting the 38.2% retracement beforehand and kind of planning the trade around that. It's nuts. But if I wasn't in already, I'd have to be in on that candle. So that's nice. My entry was fairly sketchy. I wouldn't really say it's weak though. Yeah, this trade's just kind of 3 to 1, and one of those is sketchy. I don't know. Read back, guys. Well, it looks like ES is going to get to that pivot before NQ gets to my PT, which is scary. Because ES needs to sweep this pivot, and it needs to break the trend line. I don't know which order. Now it looks like the order is it's going to do this first and this second, but now I need it to do it by a lot. I need it to get like down here. So that's the problem. Also, if NQ flips strong, I'm kind of cooked because this I am bullish for this trend line to break. J Marv, look at my chart, dude. ES just barely swept the lower low and bounced, and that's a bullish sweep of NQ's lower low. It's so sketchy because I'm bullish for this trend line to break to the upside on ES. It's so freaking sketchy. And it looks like NQ's flipping strong. So right now it's looking pretty bad. Yeah, NQ is a lot stronger than ES. Well, that hurts the odds of the trade a lot. That hurts the odds a massive amount. Like an incredibly massive amount. Stonky, I'll worry about you in a second. I'll be right back. You guys got to babysit my trade for like 3 minutes. Don't let me down, please. Yeah, I'll be back in like a few minutes. Yeah, it looks like it's going to stop out. I told you guys, NQ flipping week dropped the odds of that trade by, even though it was close to PT, I thought it was more likely to stop out now. Because I also told you guys that that trend line on ES really needs to break to the upside. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Is this a perfect double bottom on NQ though? Not a perfect double bottom, but a mispivot on NQ. But yeah, we look good for a short squeeze to the upside. That is an incredibly massive green to red trade. It was up 270 ticks. Hate to see it, man. Hate to see it. The strength change freaking screwed me. I am pretty bullish now. We'll see how far it ends up going. I'm just hoping that it continues past my stop loss and it doesn't just sweep my stop and turn around. I may be able to re-enter, but it's not looking really good because that is a very nice liquidity sweep on ES. And I was really hoping that NQ would maintain its weakness. Because if it did maintain its weakness and I got to my PT, ES would have swept and I actually would have been able to enter longs here off of this liquidity sweep on ES. But once again, you guys are terrible babysitters. You guys are like 9 for 10 on reversing my trades for stop loss. There's only 1 out of 10 times that doesn't happen. I'm going to hang out on my phone till this stops out or does something different. This is unfortunately turning into a bullish inverse head and shoulders, but we'll see what happens. I'm just gonna keep hanging on my phone. I've already kind of written this trade off because this hornswoggled was a good attempt. Surprisingly, I came back this far, and NQ's weak now. Now, we did barely miss this pivot on NQ, so I'm starting to regain confidence that we're at least going to get new low of day. But I'm scared about going for this pivot, not going to lie, because we've just been bouncing so much down here. I fear that, I'm concerned that we sweep low of day and bounce on NQ, but uh, this is kind of my original PT, and I feel like I have to stick with it. Yep. Low and I feel that, buddy. So if you want to go for low day, be my guest. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just gonna thug it out. That's what I'm gonna do. Whatever happens, happens. Well, if you aren't clenching, now's the time to clench because now's the scary part here. So we got the new low day. Everyone knew that was going to happen. Also know it's pretty likely to sweep and bounce somewhere down here. So is it going to get the third one? Uh, Hater, 5 MNQ and 1 ES or 1 ES. And I'm back to hanging out on my phone. Hater, also remember your if you trade both ES and NQ, kind of like I do, your ES positions should always be twice the size of your NQ positions. Okay, that way your ES wins and NQ wins are roughly the same. Um, so 5 MNQ, 5 micros on the Nasdaq, 1 mini on ES, and you'll be okay. And that you can go smaller than that. You know, in this market, that's pretty big. But yeah. Oh my gosh, folks, it freaking worked. I wrote that trade off. Oh my gosh, what's up with these like every day is red and then when it's freaking green, when it rains, it's like when it rains it pours. Like every freaking day is red lately. And I'm working on that. Now that I got the trade of 8 thing working, I'm going to be able to start evolving my strategy a lot more and I'll host another huge strategy session. But when it freaking rains it pours. I'll tell you guys. Jeez. Lone, we can rest, man. I don't want to trade anymore today. I'm not going to lie. I have so much to do. Last time I left early, I technically missed out on one more green trade, so I don't know. That's going to be a battle. Because I genuinely have a lot to do. I'm stressed. I need to fix the freaking trade of some bugs with the trade of 8 thing. Um, I have so much to do. I can't even. The email stuff, the newsletter stuff, my personal future strategy analysis and review now that I got the trade of 8 linked. Lots of site work. Yeah. Psychologically, I want to leave. That's what I want to do. I'm not gonna just gonna keep it real with you guys. That's a huge win. If you traded one mini, that's $1,700, but most you guys should not be trading that, so it's half of that. But that's a big win, folks. Wow. And can I potentially enter another trade anytime soon? I can enter no. If I get a volume spike, a liquidity sweep, and ES is strong on this sweep, I can enter a reversal trade. 717 ticks. Yeah, I did a little bit less than that between both of my trades. Folks, I kind of want to call it. I'm not going to lie, I only have 40 minutes left. 40 minutes left of this, 45 minutes left of this session. And the only thing I can take is a reversal trade, potentially down here, or if we bearishly consolidate. Let me see where the next pivots are. I don't even know where that's at. Oh my gosh, we have another pivot cluster just like last time. Look at this. So you should not be able to see these demand zones. I don't care about this big one. This big one doesn't really count. These count to me. Oh, brother, these are nice. These are nice pivots, folks. They're really far away, though. They're really far away. I can't see that far back. Yeah, it's more than a month back. I can't see it. Let me just use my art skills and draw some of this action. It's close enough. It's not gonna be identical, but it's close enough. And geez, that cell gets an X as well. Yeah, that gets an X. Are you serious? Yeah, now we're in the demand down there. But yeah, I'm leaning bearish for the 24.88.7 low on NQ. Those are nice pivots. These two right here, the 902.25 and 901.25, those are also really nice. Even nicer than the last ones. I want to stop. I don't want to keep trading now. I'm going to keep going. Oh, that sucks, Dev. Dang it. That, by the way, that thing ends today. That's another thing I gotta do is I gotta gamble a few valuations. I only have 17 PAs, not 20, so that's a problem. Did you leave a runner? No, I trade futures, dude. When I'm trading futures, there's no such thing as runners. I am all in and all out. It's mechanical. That's why my win rate's a lot worse, and also um, it's just more mechanical, more rules, which means less win rate but better psychology. Because I can't. I mean, I probably can if I really lock in, but realistically, I don't think I'm able to trade in the full discretionary mode for 3 hours. High stakes, high stakes leverage for 3 hours straight in the morning. I don't think that's feasible or reasonable. Solid day, folks. Green and green. Love to see it. Any chance of reversal or bounce? I'm not seeing really one. Your name, the name with a bunch of A's in the beginning. I haven't really been watching YouTube because my Trade of 8 and YouTube are on the same window. ZS's next pivot. NQ kind of has a small pivot at the bottom of this demand. Jeez, man. How many bearish days in a row are we going to do? Look at this. This is my kind of market right here. I love bearish markets. They're so much better. There's an endless supply of pivots as well, and demand zones. It's not even looking like I'm going to get bearish consolidation. Yeah, crazy. Well, I think that's going to be it for me today, guys. I just have so much to do. I need to shower, I need to eat, and then I need to lock in on the website, the Trade of 8 stuff. I need to reach out to TopStep because I want TopStep API key now. If we have a TopStep API key, then every single futures trader in this server, which is most people, will be able to use our North Star platform. Um, and then yeah, I have so much to do. But regardless, I'll document and find out if I ended up missing a trade, and if so, what were the results and whatnot. If I missed another green trade, then that really reinforces that psychology of not doing that again. These little demands just broke here. pretty close. And then this one is down here. There you go. Yeah, no, we're just going down, folks. Look at this. Market is bearish. Maybe we got Epstein files going on. In the files, it was talking about World War III starting on the 8th of February. Maybe that's spooking people. I have no idea. Hey, what are you doing, dude? Are you in calls? If you're in calls, you got to sell, especially if there's 0 days. You got to sell. They're going to go to zero. They're going to go to zero. Even if it does bounce back, they're still going to go to zero rapidly between now and market close. You only got 4 hours of market open left. Doesn't even matter if it bounces. The theta's going to destroy him. Phil Collins. Yeah. Well, you also got to keep in mind with the Epstein files, like a lot of people are freaking out that Trump's in the files, but you dig a little bit deeper and found out that the FBI investigated all of those claims and found they couldn't get in contact with any of the people that made those allegations or claims, and not all of it's completely baseless. And I mean that makes sense, right? Because it's like if they had a base, then he would have been impeached forever ago. Half the country absolutely hates the guy. So like if there was anything serious there, he would be out. But part of the Epstein and one thing you got to keep in mind with the Epstein Transparency Act, yeah, I believe a lot in the files. I'm not just this denier of all the files, but with the Epstein Transparency Act, they have to release everything, which means the things that have been confirmed and just the allegations that are baseless, things that have evidence and things that have zero evidence. Like in the Epstein files, a decent amount of those pictures are fake pictures that have already been proven, but they have to release it because that picture found a way into the files in the first place or whatever. Someone sent it in and now it's part of this large conglomerate of files or something like that. So yeah, with the Epstein stuff, if you're gonna go into it, dig a little bit deeper and see if any of it's been disproven. Honestly, I wouldn't for fact checkers because we know who runs that. But you can't just take absolutely everything at face value because again, part of the Transparency Act is even the stuff that's disproven, they gotta release it. Worse, I'm in futures. What's your average, AA? If you know options is worse because if you were in options, your trade would be going to zero. But if you're trading futures with your own money, then yeah, that may be worse because you'll get liquidated. And that is true. That is true, SRT. But I mean, to be fair, everyone called all the Pizzagate people, and I was one of those people. I wasn't just loud about it. Everyone said the Pizzagate people and the people that said the world is run by satanic pedo elites running a sex trafficking ring. Everyone thought those people were crazy, and now it's common knowledge, you know. So it is funny seeing all of that play out, but it's like people have been saying this for years. And all of a sudden, Alex Jones doesn't look as dumb as he used to look. 2,500, oversized, way too much. Are you on an evaluation account, A? Are you on a PA? What's going on? Also, my stream is not. It says the current frame rate is too high. Let me see. This is too high. Alex Jones is. I think Alex Jones is paranoid. So yes, a lot of the stuff he says is true, but a lot of the stuff he says is wrong because he's so freaking paranoid. Like half schizo, half paranoid. Like the Sandy Hook stuff that went down. I think that was absolutely terrible, right? But I think because he's seen so much actual evil, because he did sneak into the Bohemian Grove and do all that stuff, because he did actually see so much evil that he's actually paranoid now, and now it's a hit or miss with him. Like I feel like he genuinely believes everything he says, but you know, some of the things he says can be out of paranoia. You know what's crazier, Ant Man? Learning that Epstein was behind Bitcoin's creation. Like he's very connected to the creation of Bitcoin. And you know, that keeps reminding me of that Dan Pena video, that old asshole that's like really super rich and that's pretty much his whole personality. He does say he does have a lot of good talking points though. He's just a terrible human being. Um, he was saying, you know, I know who created Bitcoin, and if the world find out who created Bitcoin, it would go to zero. No one really believed him, but now it's starting to look a little more suspicious. Wait, A, are you not trading on a funded account? Are you trading with you're trading with your real money? With what brokerage? And did it already liquidate or is it coming back up right now? Because it's already back up. Sell that shit. Weeble, sell it. You're green now, right? Sell it. I don't know what the hell you're doing. Did you sell it or are you gonna be a greedy bastard? Okay, but you sold it, right? You're not you're not being a greedy piece of shit. Because if that's the case, you deserve to have God take all your money away. Okay, but you're out now, right? You're good. It's over. Okay. You're done with that. Don't I don't like advertising my community, but dude, you're gonna lose all your money. It's guaranteed. I promise. Stop doing what you're doing. Do not just blindly listen to me if you want a chance, right? Stop doing what you're doing. Uh, click on my website, talk to me, and you're not trading futures with your own money anymore. That's the first thing that's changing. I don't know why you're doing that. That could not be dumber. No. You should not be building your psychological skill set using your own money on futures. You need to be using funded accounts like Apex. Apex is a 90% off sale. Pick up 2 accounts from them today. It ends at the end of the day today. It ends in like 12 hours or something. Um, if you end up joining, tell me your Discord AA because I promise you will lose every single dollar unless you make major changes. You may have gotten out of it now, but you just getting out of that for a win reinforced that terrible psychology that got you into the trade. And next time you're extremely tempted, you're damn near guaranteed to do the same thing again, right? Except next time you're not going to be so lucky. So lock in. I'm not telling you to buy premium. Don't buy premium. Don't do any of that stuff. Just find a way to contact me, DM me or whatever, and then I'll tell you what to do. I'm not trying to sell you anything. It's just for your sake, you need direction pretty badly. Yeah. Someone says I've recovered before and I can do it again. Yep. Yep. Well, all right. So it's for sure that I'm not going to get another trade. So I'm going to end this. Congrats on being able to. Congrats on the bailout, but yeah, seek direction. Whether I really recommend it's from me. And again, this has nothing to do with buying anything, like selling you anything. But find direction and stop trading until you get it because you're freaking cooked, buddy. You just reinforce such bad psychology. But all right, I'm out. Bright green day on futures, bright green day on options, bright green day all over the place. Let me just send out an announcement real quick. All right. Just sent out that announcement. Nice job, John. Congratulations. And ping me when you send that message in the trade of the week, John, and I'll get it on my site and whatnot. But all right, someday, dude, John, you got to graduate from Weeble, buddy. Problem is you trade on your phone though, so it's kind of easy, but you gotta be trading on a laptop or a computer or something. But all right, I will see you guys for the trade review session. Looks like I'm not going to miss out on a trade today, but who knows? Maybe we come up and bullishly consolidate. If we do keep coming up, a really nice bullish PT on NQ is here. So we did just barely miss this level. So it's a very nice pivot here on NQ. Otherwise, and a nice trade to support it would be something like this. Something like that, kind of an inverse head and shoulders already. Doesn't look bad. But all right, I'll see you guys later. You guys have a blessed rest of your day. Good luck if you continue trading. AA, to whoever's name is 4A's in the beginning in YouTube, find a way to contact me. And yeah, I'll see you guys for the trade review later today because that is going to start happening again. All right, see you guys later. Congrats on the gains. Yeah, of course, AA. Just find a way to contact me, dude, and I'll kind of set you up with a game plan because I don't want you to derail your trading career. Right.